How to configure parts that have been added to an elevation. Immediately on the right side of the minus sign, you'll see a menu item that says bay, door, horizontal, vertical, and so on. These are your configuration menu items. So let's choose bay. A configuration bay dialog box appears. We choose bay 2. At this point, all of the bays are evenly allocated. Let's open up this bay to 80 inches. Give us some side lights. Now you'll notice that we have a notification here that says the bay is fixed. If we want to put the bay back to the same size as the other bays, you just press float. So let's go ahead and look at our drawings. Our drawings are showing that we have a 3 and 15/16 daylight opening for each side light. But after opening the bay a little wider, you'll notice that each side light has a 23-inch daylight opening. The drawings menu item that displays the current elevation that you're working on immediately to you is very handy for drawing and rapid application development. So let's go ahead and configure the door. We've got the configuration door dialog box that pops up. We'll choose our only door. And right now we have a medium style door. We can very easily change it to a narrow style. And it is a narrow style. Or we could change it to a wide style. And our drawings do reflect that it's a wide style. We could lower the door. And we can raise the door. So all of this is happening in real time at illumicloud.com's cloud servers. Every time that you make a change or a configuration or add an item, that data is being stored remotely. So notice that this is just a browser. We've just logged in and went straight to work. To configure mid rails for doors, you do that within the configuration door dialog. At this point, we have one leaf with no mid rails. Let's go ahead and add a mid rail. We'll set it at the same height as the first horizontal mullions. And when I say first horizontal mullions, that's this first row of horizontal mullions with the symbols that say 1. And these are the symbols that say 2. So that's configuration of the door. Let's configure our horizontal. Our horizontal menu dialog box opens up. We'll just choose bay 1. And we choose bay 1, we have 2 horizontals to choose from. We have horizontal mullion 1 in bay 1, and we have horizontal mullion 2 in bay 1. We'll just choose the first one, and it is at 24 inches still. We can set it at 12 inches this way. Or we can raise it up to 40 inches. We can look at our drawings to make sure that it does reflect correctly. If you look over here on the right side, this vertical line represents the horizontals. This doesn't represent the top of the door. The door has its own door schedule. We can click on the door schedule to see the door schedule. And on this side, it shows you that this leaf's mid rail is 24 inches from floor, and it's 2 inch has a 2-inch sight line and an 8-inch bottom rail. We don't have a note on the door, but if we added a note in our door dialog box, it would show up here. So we'll set our horizontal back to 24 inches. And adjusting the verticals, we'll choose our only vertical that we have, which is in bay 2. It's at the top of the door. It's horizontal 1 horizontal mullion 1 in bay 2, and that's where it's located at. This is horizontal 1, this area, which is the transom. Configure vertical mullion. What vertical mullion? Vertical mullion 1 in horizontal mullion 1, bay 2. So now that we've got the correct vertical mullion chosen, let's look at our drawings. At this point we have 52 and 3/16 daylight opening on the right, 29 and 13/16 on the left daylight opening. We now have 44 and 5/16 daylight opening on the left and 37 and 3/4 inch daylight opening on the right. From the configuration vertical mullion dialog box, you can also add another vertical at this point if you wanted to. For bulkheads, let's choose our empty bay that we have added earlier. Let's choose bay 3 for our configuration bulkhead. Let's raise it up to 24 inches. So in order for it to be at the top of the horizontals, we really need to set it to 22 inches. Bulkheads are measured from the finished floor to the top of the horizontal to its seal. So 22 inches. Actually, it's measured from the finished floor to the bottom of the seal. So we've pushed up this bay 22 inches. With a 2-inch sight line, that would be 24 inches, which puts us even at the other horizontal mullions. And it shows up correctly in our drawing dialog menu box. So let's just go ahead and remove that bulkhead. Look at our drawing again. There's no bulkhead. Now configuration of the side lights. Right now our side lights are just empty. So let's choose the door 1 in bay 2, which is the only door we have to choose from. Which side light? You can work on the left or the right. We'll just start with the left. We'll keep the width at 26 inches on each side, but for demonstration, let's show you how we can move the door back and forth. So now on the left side, we have a daylight width of 14. Actually, we have a daylight width of 10, so the overall width of the side light is 14 inches. Let's push it over further, have it even bigger. So now we have a 38-inch daylight opening and an 8-inch daylight opening on this side. This works the same way as the bay configuration. We're just going to float it. Now they both have the same daylight opening on each side. Each side light is identical, 23 inches and 23 inches. We can also add a horizontal mullion to the side light configuration. At this point there is no horizontal, so we'll add one now. Horizontal mullion 1, left side light, bay 2. And it is a 2-inch profile. And we'll go ahead and set this at 24 inches to match the rest of the drawing. So let's see what that looks like. So now in our side light we have a horizontal mullion, and our bays we have a horizontal mullions at 24 inches. They have a 2-inch side light and it's 24 inches from floor. Now we'll work on the right side. We'll manage it. We'll go ahead and add a horizontal. We'll choose the only horizontal in there that we've just added, and we'll set it at 24 inches as well. So now both of our side lights are identical. We have our daylight height and our daylight width, and now we have our daylight height above that for convenience. So this has been an example of how to configure an elevation.